So I went to India over the summer again. And when there comes a trip to India, there must also come a video ranting about some part of it. Are you kidding me? It's been 3 years and you're still making these kind of videos? Look, man, it's been rough ever since school ended. I mean, first there was the Okay, before I get into anything else, I just want to say I didn't go to India expecting to make another video like this. The original plan was to enjoy my 3 weeks there, come back, prep for college, then suffer for the next 4 years. Unfortunately, my suffering came early the moment I stepped into the Chennai Airport, and that's when I realized I had to do something about it. A few days after that, I was contemplating whether I really wanted to make another video like this. I mean, hasn't Chennai faced enough of my wrath? Instead, I wanted to do like a video essay of my experience in India. It would have been something more wholesome and positive. But ranting just sounded so much more fun. So, without further ado... Wait. Shouldn't you do like a disclaimer like you did for driving in Chennai? No. So without further ado, let's talk about flying in Chennai. Let's start off with the airport itself, because you can't fly to Chennai if there's no airport to fly to. Duh. The airport is pretty mid for US standards, but it's Chennai. What can you expect? You can basically divide the airport into 4 sections: domestic arrival, international departure, domestic departure, and international arrival, in order from decent to Domestic arrival is actually pretty nice. Everything looks clean, you got some cool statues and murals, baggage claim is pretty calm, and they have a Krispy Kreme. International arrival, on the other hand, is horrible. You get off your comfy, air-conditioned plane expecting to enter an airport as beautiful as the country it's in, but instead you enter a smelly, claustrophobic, poorly lit, air-conditioned-less excuse for international terminal. And this was kind of confusing to me because you'd expect it to look fancy for all the foreigners coming in and sort of mid for the rest of the Indians, but instead it's the other way around, like they prefer the Indians over the foreigners. Wait, is that racism? All in all, it's a pretty crappy first experience in Chennai, but if you can make it through that, you'll be set for the rest of your trip. If you've ever been to a foreign country, then you know you gotta go through this thing called immigration first. I personally don't see the point of all of that. I mean, can't we just let people go wherever they want and do whatever they want? Now for Chennai, this process is horrendously slow, and that's mainly due to the sheer number of people trying to get through it all at once. If you're coming in on a big flight with hundreds of people, expect to be in immigration for about an hour. And trust me, being that close to that many Indians for that long is not good for you. Like when I got there, the immigration line was so cramped, the dude standing behind me was literally standing like 2 inches away from me. I mean, 2 inches is like a pretty average amount of space, but still. But then even if you're coming in on a smaller flight, these immigration officers take the longest time to do everything. When I came back from Singapore, my family and I were like the second people in line, and it still took us like 10 minutes to get through everything. Ah, Singapore with its 2-minute immigration process. Good times. And for some reason, they also made us do immigration on the way out of the country, which I don't understand because the more people they can get out of that place, the better. But Singapore also made us do that, and we love Singapore. I guess I'll let that one slide then. This was by far the worst part of flying in Chennai. You got like 20 people fighting over one tray, the slowest moving conveyor belts, and then random police officers yelling at people in Hindi. Like, come on, the least they can do is yell at people in Tamil. It's a Tamil-speaking city for crying out loud. Or just yell at them in English for people like me who barely know either language. Another thing they do is make men and women go through different security lines, which when you're an adult, it isn't that bad. But the thing that's most frustrating about it is they treat security for the men and women differently. For the women, it takes like 5 seconds to just go in a little room and get patted down and they move on. For the men though, they make you T-pose in the middle of the airport for like a solid 15 seconds while the Hindi police officer plays with the metal detector around you. Whatever happened to gender equality? Like, come on y'all, it's 2022. Women can be terrorists too. So yeah, security, would not recommend. Just try and find a way around it if you can. Now, when I was flying locally in Chennai, I only stuck to one airline, and I won't name any names, but it rhymes with Bindigo. The plane itself wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. The seats weren't really comfy, they make you pay for snacks, too many Indians, and worst of all, none of the flight attendants spoke Tamil. Other than that though, the flying was okay. The more annoying part though was actually getting to the plane. I kid you not, when we were getting ready to leave to Singapore, we had our tickets checked 4 times between the gate and the plane. 4 times. Like, if this is security, I would understand, but right before getting on the plane, how did they think we made it this far in the first place? Another interesting thing they did for domestic flights was instead of having that long passageway to get to your plane, they made you take a little bus that goes across the tarmac to your plane. Which, to be fair, was probably the highlight of the whole flying experience because you get to see all the big planes outside. But then it's all ruined when it stops and you realize you have to actually get on that plane. And last but not least, I thought I'd do a little lightning round this time to address the things I didn't feel like putting in other categories. Baggage claim is very chaotic. Domestic is okay, but international is just a mess. Too many Indians. You have to leave the airport to move terminals, which isn't very convenient when it's 4 in the morning and you have 5 minutes to get to the check-in counter before it closes. Some of the gates are hard to find. They sort of hide them around corners like it's a scavenger hunt. Getting taxis to leave the airport is kind of annoying because you'll have like 10 people trying to book a taxi for you even though you've already booked one. And then don't even get me started on the driving after that. And finally, bathrooms. Just bathrooms. So, in conclusion, flying in Chennai is interesting. On the one hand, I kind of enjoy the scenery of the airport at times. It's just taking in the atmosphere of the place. I mean, when you take a minute to look around at the culture, you really start to appreciate the place you're in. But on the other hand, flying there is very annoying. Everything is just so slow, crowded, and inefficient. It's just sad to watch. If only there was some way to improve this process, some way to make things move quicker, to ensure that all the resources of the airport are being used efficiently, optimizing people's time, making everyone happier. Nah, it's always gonna be shit, isn't it? So there you have it. Flying in Chennai, with its ever disappointing lows and its mediocre highs. Will I ever go to Chennai again after this? Definitely. Will I make another video about it? I don't know. I guess you'll have to stick around and see. Until then, I hope you enjoyed watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.